I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all of the difference. Get ready and buckle up now. Buckle up and buckle down. We're going to ride the strange train straight down the road less traveled. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your humble and erstwhile host, Dennis Carroll, and this is episode 55 of The Road Less Traveled. I want to welcome you all here tonight, definitely, and appreciate you being here. And my co host, my co pilot, Gerald Fountain, is MIA tonight. He's missing in action. He's a little under the weather, so we'll be doing it solo tonight. So get better out there, Gerald. All right. Get yourself better now. And hope you're doing all right. But I want to welcome you all here tonight. Let me get the comments up here. I see we've already got a full house accumulating here. All right. That's good. Tanya and Wizard Moon, the girl in her gong. Gus is also known as Gus's mom, the girl. And Demaria and Little Kilroy. And who else we got here? Oh, let's see. Well, we've got Shiro in the house. Hello, Shiro. That's the wife of Gerald Fountain, by the way. Maybe whether she won't even know that or not, but I put it out anyway. Okay. And here's Russell. Hey, Russell and Ida. All right. And Urso. And let's see what else we got here. All right. Let's just accumulating. All right. Definitely. That's good. Danette is in here. Hello, Danette. And Manisha. Hello. Good to have you all here. So it's a cold, dark night out there. So we'll get some warm hearts going in here. Hello, Monica. Good to have you here, dear. And tonight we're going to be doing a little bit on Earth Light Mysteries here. Okay. Well, I touched on it on, I think, the last episode of Paranormal Point of View, which was Friday night. I think I touched a little bit on that. I'm going to go into it a little bit deeper tonight. It is a fascinating mystery, definitely. Hello, Bounty Hunting Bear. Cryptic Kentucky. I want to say that this is a red letter day for Hunting the Shadows channel. We just crossed over the threshold of 1,500 subscribers. All right, that's good. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Yep. We're getting on up there. Yep. And I want to let everybody know that I did drop a video for the members. Hello, Blazer. I did drop a video for the members yesterday. I think it was yesterday. For the members of the Shadow Hunters Club. If you haven't joined, you might want to think about it. It was a fantastic video, and I was telling everyone about, that's the members, about my night on the island of the dead. You definitely might want to hear that. These are the only things you're going to only hear on the members only thing. So you might want to consider, if you're not a shadow hunter, you might want to make it official. That's right. Thank you there, Girl on the Gong, for the congratulations there. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, we reached a little bit of a milestone there, and onward and upward, I hope. Yep, definitely. But yeah, it was a great. I've got some more good stuff coming too. If you remember, you just hold on to your seat, because I've got some more good stuff I'm gonna be sharing with you, and we're gonna start having some on the membership. We're gonna start having some contests here. Okay, so you better keep an eye on that. Absolutely. And we may have some contests on the regular show here too, coming up very soon. So get yourself ready. You might win some swag here. You might get some stickers, and you might get some magnets and keychains. You never know what you might get on here. That's right. So watch out. I may spring that special secret question on you there one night, and so you better be listening close. Okay. All right. Just a friendly warning now. Okay. Absolutely. Oh, Girl Nagong gets gifted 5 Hunting Shadows memberships. Thank you, dear. Appreciate that. That's great. 5 free memberships there, folks. Come on now. Ooh, absolutely. That she has a generous heart, definitely. Thank you so much. That is highly and very much appreciated. So we'll get 5 new members in here, maybe, and they'll get to hear the stories. Okay, yeah, there you go. So I appreciate that very much, and although we're mourning the Bills tonight, didn't work out too well, did it? I mentioned that on the last, I think it was the last episode. I think a lot of these games, I'm beginning to wonder about them maybe being some of them being rigged. You know what I'm saying? It would not surprise me any. Absolutely. But you never know. You never know in the world today. You never know. Oh, okay. Thank you there, Russell. That's my Patreon. If you want to join the Patreon, which is different than the YouTube membership, which is hunting the Shadow Hunters Club, you can join the Patreon. Now, both of these are definitely connected to my group, and you need to start looking up my group, the Legend Tracker Society. You definitely now that's membership, and that is free, and it's on Facebook. Okay, if you happen to be on Facebook, you can join the Legend Tracker Society. It is absolutely free. Okay, so you might want to think about joining that group if you're on Facebook. Okay, all right. You're quite. Thank you so much, Sharon Gone, for that generosity. No wonder Gus loves you so much. So anyway, he gets a lot of treats anyway, right? There you go. But anyway, um, thank you so much, dear. I appreciate that. And I know my boy, he used to love treats too, definitely. And keep him on your side with the treats. All right. All right. So thank you, Girl Nagong. You are a great supporter of this channel. And a lot of you are out there, and I appreciate that. Definitely from the bottom of my heart. Definitely. Absolutely. Um, we need all the support we can get, financial and otherwise. That means just showing up and listening to the program sometimes. Okay. All right. Gus rescued you, huh? Well, that's the way it goes. Yep. That's exactly because we call them rescue animals, but really it's the other way around, I think. Absolutely. But anyway, I've noticed something else too. I'm going to address tonight before we get into our subject. A lot of people. I was talking about this with a good friend of mine today, and I just got off the phone with another friend of mine talking about this. The podcaster friends. A lot of us are getting really attacked here. Lately, we're coming under a lot of attack, and so keep on your toes there. Thank you, Girl. I'll put that up. That's the Legend Tracker Society. You might want to think about joining now, because we're gonna track them legends down. All right. Hello, Crystal. Good to have you here. Rhonda's come checking in, and Susan too. All right. But yeah, a lot of people are coming under attack here recently. Yours truly included. And I don't know what's going on with that, but I think maybe because maybe we're telling the truth, okay? Maybe we're getting a little too close to the truth and it's making them uncomfortable about some of this stuff. I want to say something else. There is a certain company out there and I call it the company. It is a organization that starts with 3 letters, okay? And the first letter is a C. Well, it would not surprise me a bit if those son of a guns are not sending spooks out after us, okay? Just to disrupt and screw things up. That would not surprise me a bit. Matter of fact, I'm looking for that to be the very case in this matter, okay? Absolutely. And uh everybody say hello to Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Okay, there she is. Crystal's in the house. Anyway, it would not surprise me a bit if they're not doing this to disrupt us, to try to dishearten us, and try to ruin our reputations and everything else they can do. They're always up to stuff like that. Banshee, I love that name, Banshee. By the way, that's what they do. Banshee says absolutely. And that would not surprise me one single bit. Not one single bit. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if they didn't do it. That's the surprise I can get out of it. Absolutely. Let me back up just a little bit. Trolls come out in the winter to attack chats. Oh, yeah, they got nothing better to do, I don't reckon. That's pretty sad life to have nothing better to do than go around trolling people like that. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Hello, with the Maria's in here. Hello, the Maria. Join and support this channel. You can go to the main page on the desktop and hit the 3 dots. There you go. Yeah, hit the 3 dots and you can support the channel there. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Been gone a week, been under the weather. Oh my goodness, Crystal's been under the weather too. That's where my co-host is tonight. Definitely under the weather. I'm not feeling that fantastic myself tonight. I think there's something going around again. I don't know. Anyway. That's the way it goes. But I also wanted to tell everybody that, and I will remind them again before the end of the show, had a absolutely fantastic morning or afternoon, early this afternoon, actually, with my good friend, the Cryptid Huntress, on her show. The Cryptid Huntress and I had a fantastic show about the Anderson werewolf. That's my werewolf, by the way. Here in the city where I live, Anderson, South Carolina, we have a werewolf, and it ain't me, okay? It's another one. I got competition, okay? Anyway, we did a whole show on that. It was fantastic. We did, I think, around 2 hours on that. It was great. And if you haven't seen it, you better check this one out. Go to her page, the Cryptid Huntress, or go to my channel. It's going to be in there too, in my library. You can watch it in there as well, whichever way you want to go with it. But go check it out. You will not be sorry. It's one of the best shows I think we have done in a long time. She and I have been doing the shows together for well over 4 years now. So I think ever since she's been doing shows, matter of fact. And so we have some really great, fantastic shows sometimes. Here's the link. Thank you, Girl in the Gong. There's the link for the Jessica show today. You might want to check that out later on this evening or tomorrow, whichever the case. Fascinating story. She and I have an affinity for werewolves. That's just the way that goes. So she's part of my wolf tribe, by the way. So check it out. Hello, Cryptid Kentucky. Good to have you here. And Overbuilt Automotive. Hello, Overbuilt. The root brands. Look to it up in your health and cures loads of crap, huh? I'm reading some of this stuff here. Good evening, everyone. Sweet Pea. Hello, Sweet Pea. Good to have you here, dear. So anyway, check it out. Great show. The Anderson Werewolf. Very interesting story. If you haven't listened to it, you need to check this one out. Absolutely. And matter of fact, this is connected to the first case that I ever did. The very first case that I ever investigated and did research on. I was 15 years old at the time. Was a werewolf case. And I thought it might have been connected to this case. So you need to really check this show out. Absolutely. Fantastic. The Cryptid Huntress. It's a good friend of ours. Okay. So check it out. Appreciate that very much. Earthlight Mysteries. Say, what in the world are you talking about here, Dennis? Earthlight Mysteries. Well, the Girl in her Gong got me started on that a little bit, I think last week, when she sent me a thing about the Min lights. The Min lights are very, very well known ghost light type things down in Australia. And these ghost lights are, we've always called them ghost lights. I call them Earth mystery lights because really they are mystery what the heck they are, But there's been a lot of scientific inquiry into these things, and nobody's ever found a viable answer for this question. What are they? And why are they formed that way? But I believe they are connected somehow or another, without a doubt, to the energy, the natural energy of the earth. They are many different parts of the world. Matter of fact, right not too far from where I'm at tonight, I have encountered some of these ghost lights in cemeteries at night. I have encountered some not too far from a cemetery, where, as a matter of fact, Crystal used to live out that way. Ghost lights out there. But now there are other types of ghost lights. There are will-o'-the-wisp or corpse candles, as they are sometimes called. You've got foxfire. You've got St. Elmo's fire. You've got all kinds of different things, and a lot of this stuff is not understood why does it do that. Ball lightning is another one of them. And you know that for many years, science said, "Oh, there's no such thing as ball lightning," but now they've proved that to be different. They've proved that to be true, that there is such a thing as ball lightning. Now, yeah, here is the link for the Min lights if anybody wants to go check that out. It is a fascinating research thing. And thank you, girl Energon, for sending me that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it when all any of you send me stuff like that. It does not go to waste. Okay, I'm always checking them out, checking everything out. I try to look for myself. I try to keep an eye on TikTok and Instagram and all the rest of them. But I'm only one person, so I don't get around that much. But thank you for sending me stuff like that. All of you that do that, it is very highly appreciated. It helps me in a lot of my research, definitely. But anyway, getting back to the subject, the ghost lights, the Earth mystery lights, they have been spotted for some of them for thousands of years. Another place not too far from where I'm sitting tonight. Have any of you ever heard of the Mako light? The Mako light is right on the border of North and South Carolina, and Mako is the community, and it has a ghost story attached to it. This light is seen along the railroad tracks, and I have never seen it myself. I've been by there, but unfortunately, it wasn't at night. But I have talked to people who have seen the Mako light. And here's the weird thing about it. They said this would appear, this a very straight, and all railroad tracks, you can think one thing about railroad tracks, you got to remember, they will not work unless they're absolutely perfectly straight and level. Okay. And this is a very straight, level run of railroad track down through there. And I mean, it goes like probably 2 miles down through there straight. But this light appears along the track. And here's the weird thing about it. If you get close to the light, it moves away from you. And if you move away from it, it comes back closer towards you. It almost has an intelligence about it. Now, when you have a light or anything like that that exhibits an intelligence, and I've talked with Jane and Gerald about this too, some of the weird things they catch on their cameras and stuff like that. Anything that you see that has an intelligence, it moves away from or goes around obstacles, or exhibits some type of intelligence about it, you got to wonder what's going on there. If it's not a bug, if it's not some kind of wildlife, what is it? And I have actually seen spiritual energy manifest and pop like that. It would be small, like a small orb, and would kind of pop, letting off energy like. I think there is a lot, of course, different types of energy in this universe. And definitely there is such a thing as spiritual energy, without a doubt. I think it is in another somewhat dimension, but sometimes it may cross over into our reality. So St. Elmo's fire is another phenomenon of glowing plasma light. That is true, girl, and wrong. And it is seen a lot as ships at sea. I think water may have something to do with that, or moisture, definitely. And if you remember that very famous scene with Gregory Peck and Moby Dick, when he holds the harpoon up and the St. Elmo's light comes down and lights it up, it freaked them all out. They thought, hey, this man can even get St. Elmo's fire to do what he wants it to do. And then, of course, out in swamps, you have the foxfire. You have what we sometimes call corpse candles. They look like little small candle flames out among the woods and all that. And then, of course, very much like the will-o'-the-wisp, which can be sort of a glowing light, which will supposedly, according to legend, lead you off into the forest, get you lost, and get you unalived. Okay? Never follow these things, because some of them, like I said before, have an intelligence, and that intelligence may not be a very nice intelligence that you're running into. So be careful with that, especially when you run into anything like that. Hello, Jason. Good to have you here, Catherine. But yeah, we've got to be very careful when you investigate stuff like this because the properties of these things are still unknown. Now, right, not too far from where I'm at, there is over the North Carolina border. There is a mountain called Brown Mountain, and the Brown Mountain lights have been known for well over 1,000 years, supposedly by the indigenous peoples that live around Brown Mountain. I have actually seen these lights my own self, and they will rise up off the mountain and go way up in the air and come back down. And there is a very strange. It's not. It's and a lot of people say it's like somebody with a flashlight playing around. No, it's nothing like that. These things have been seen before the invention of flashlights, automobiles, and railroad trains, and all this other stuff. These things have been around for a long time. This is not what these are. It's not reflections of stuff. I had one man tell me one time that he thought it was the reflection of minerals in the streams on the mountain, but Brown Mountain doesn't have that many streams. That doesn't hold up because minerals don't usually do that kind of. They don't have properties like that in the water. They especially don't sometimes. I mean, no, not and I'm talking about with a light shining on them or make them reflect out of the water and all. I've never seen minerals do that to that extent that would make lights like these that I saw. Not no, I don't believe that. Now there is a ghost story attached to the Mako light that I mentioned earlier. That the brakeman, that's a lineman on the railroad, got his head accidentally cut off, and he was holding a lantern, and that's what you see. Supposedly, his ghost is still carrying that lantern. Um, Supposedly, the Brown Mountain Lights have a ghost story attached to them too. That a hunter on the mountain got lost one night in a fog on the mountain or something like that, and his faithful servant went looking for him with a lantern, and he got lost and he died too. They both were unalived by this incident. Supposedly, this is just a story though. I've never found anything out truly that backs this up. This is just a legend, legends that people get started around things like that. So I have to say there's no really credence in this ghost story attached to the Brown Mountain Lights. But they have been studied by a lot of scientific teams. The National Geographic has looked into it. And guess what? There are other lights like it all over the country. Another one I want to talk about before I get to the Min Min lights, which is in Australia, by the way, if I didn't mention that, are the Marfa lights. Marfa, Texas. That's Marfa. Marfa, Texas has some lights very much like that. And guess where they're at? They're out in the middle of a field. That's right, just a big field down there. And a lot of people, I know one incident where somebody actually camped out in that field one night and they woke up during the night and these lights were all around them, scared the dickens out of them, okay? And they didn't know what they were facing. But these spook lights will spook you, definitely, by the very nature and the way that they do and act. I could see why it would frighten people. But to me, it is a very interesting mystery. Absolutely. Let me check, see what we got seeing here outside. I was stationed for years at Schofield Barracks. I went over the island during my time there. It's a wonderful place. Downtown Honolulu needs it too. Okay, elite security downtown Honolulu. I'm checking out some of your discussions going on here. I've heard of something called angel orbs. I don't know anything about them. Similar, yeah. Well, really, that's another name for what we call the corpse candles. Angel orbs. Now, there is, and I was going to touch on that tonight. And I'm glad you brought that up. There's supposed to be certain manifestations of angelic activity that look like orbs or plasma type orbs, supposedly. Some people have described these things being seen in the heavens, being seen on earth, as a matter of fact, too. And I have to wonder how many of these things, like, we talked about today about werewolves and dogmen being misidentified. I just have to wonder how many of these so-called UFOs are misidentified some type of angelic activity. You never know. Lights are a big mystery, especially when you see lights at night in the sky. And I have seen a lot of them, my friends. For a long time down here in South Carolina, where I'm at, we had a run in of these red orbs that people were seeing in the sky, and to this day, I still think they were some type of uh, probes of some sort. What they were, I don't know, but they still crop up every once in a while. The Marfa lights. My sister-in-law saw those. Yeah, yeah, the Marfa lights are very famous. And of course, like what the girl in the gong was talking about, with the Min lights. The Min lights are some among the most famous ones in the world. You know, I told that story the other night about that guy chasing them down the road. There were two of them, and he was chasing them down this long dirt road. He was doing like 80 miles an hour trying to catch these lights, and all of a sudden they split up. One went one way, went the other way. He put on brakes and come right up on a big tree. That's what happened. They split, went around this tree and went off into the dark. Now, there is if you've never read this book, The Mysterious Valley, it's written by a guy named Chris O'Brien. He recently passed away, as a matter of fact. Chris O'Brien had some very interesting paranormal activity in the Colorado Valley. Okay. And he called it, that's the name of it. If you ever get a chance to read this book, you will not be disappointed. Check it out. I think you can still find it on Amazon. I think so. It's called The Mysterious Valley. Chris O'Brien. And he chased, there's some talk of them chasing some lights like that down in the Colorado Valley. These lights were not the headlights of automobiles. That's the first thing people say, oh, there was headlights on the truck or something like that. No, they didn't. For one thing, these lights were higher off the ground than a truck, unless it was some kind of big monster truck or something, which it wasn't. They were way off the ground, but they had properties different than headlights. By the way, headlights like those Min lights do not split up. Okay, they're attached to a car or an automobile or something. They don't do that. These lights are independent of anything like that, and they can move independently of each other. It's wild, freaky stuff. They're almost like some type of weird alien presence of some sort. USS Arizona tour boats, huh? Yes, flying cockroaches on the island. Oh, yeah, flying cockroaches, yeah. 3 useless tomcats. Okay, what we got here? The Min lights again. Yeah, let's put that back up for anybody that might want to check it out. That's the Min lights on the Instagram thing. Anyway, the Min lights are the same way, and these lights are found all over the world in different areas. Okay, what's going on with that? But like I said, my only hypothesis for these things, if they are some type of Earth light mysteries or anomalies, they've got to be attached to the natural energy of the Earth itself. Now, you know, on the Cryptid Hunter show today, we talked a little bit about ley lines, and a lot of these places, like the mounds, the old Indian trails, a lot of these places and stuff like that, these mystical places, seem to be attached to this weird Earth energy that the ley lines represent. And I believe not only do you have to have ley lines, and I mentioned this to her, I don't think you not only have to have the ley lines run smack through the middle of something. I believe on either side of these lines, activity is very high too. Okay, I believe there's a bleed over from the ley lines in a lot of these areas, and I have to wonder if this stuff is not attached. Definitely to Earth energy. You lived at Barber's Point, huh? And there's another one I think it's off the coast of South Carolina, Lands End Light. That's another one, and there are of course ghost lights seen on the ocean. So it's not just land. You know, I think Gerald and I did a show about some of these ghost ships and things that people see supposedly. So those are attached or mentioned with a lot of different ghost lights per se. So it's a fascinating subject. And if you ever want to get into doing some interesting research, look it up because you will not be disappointed. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm checking out some of the chats here. Florida has we have flying cockroaches in South Carolina too. Demarion. Yeah, we call them palmetto bugs. Those little suckers can be very big. They can be very nasty little son of a guns too. Yes, they do fly. They may call them palmetto bugs in Florida too. I don't know. They may have another name for them. But those suckers, I'm gonna tell you something smart about those things. Okay, now listen to this very closely. Be careful when you go in the house at night, and don't leave your door open too long, because they're sitting. These things sit by the door, waiting for the door to open so they can get in the house. I'm not kidding you. They really do. I've seen it do. I've seen them do it many times trying to get in. So watch it. Watch real close what happens with that. Okay, thank you very much, there, Girl Gong. That's the Hunting the Shadows Patreon and the podcast thing there. Yeah. Also, we have if anybody wants to go that route, we have not only a PayPal, and I'll be putting that up in a little while, but we also have a Cash App now, too. So if anybody wants to make any kind of a donation, they can do that. We have flying spruce beetles. They bite, take a huge chunk out of it. Oh, yeah. That sounds mean. Had a Marine who trained me still in why he's homeless and hasn't seen me in 25 years. Homeless, huh? But anyway, getting back to the ghost lights. The interesting thing about these things, I have had reports of them on the moors in England, the mountains in Scotland, the hills of Ireland. These things are seen all over the world. In Africa, the Sahara, they've seen ghost lights in the Sahara Desert, believe it or not. And you would think a dry area like that wouldn't have them, but there you go. Well, like I said, I believe there's a detachment to Earth energy of some sort going on with this stuff. Do they populate your house like the little roaches? Oh yeah, they will. They will get in your house and get on you. Oh yeah, they are brave little suckers. Thank you there, Russell. Thank you for that sticker, son. Appreciate that, bud. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, they'll get in here. They will infest your house. Roaches. I'm gonna tell you something about cockroaches before I get back to the lights. Cockroaches have been walking around since the days of dinosaurs, my friend. You don't get rid of them suckers easy. They can be very resilient little beasts, without a doubt. I hate them. I hate cockroaches and all that kind of stuff. And they're nasty buggers, definitely. Thank you. There we go. The girl in the gaunt says, thank you, Russell. All red. Finger red number 1. All right. And them 2 geckos and cats are fun to watch, too. I have a lot of cats. If anybody runs out of cats, let me know. I got plenty of them outside, okay? But anyway, yeah, but they really do wait by the door. These bugs will wait by the door and wait for the door to open and run in. I've seen them do it. You would think something with a brain no bigger than a grain of sand would not have that much sense, but they know what they're doing. They're smart. They know how to survive, without a doubt. The ones I hate the most are the little brownbacks, they call them. Little water bug, little brownbacks. I hate them things. No, we don't have those, and I guess because of the Arctic winters. You do not want palmetto bugs. I have seen some that big. I'm serious, at least 4 inches long. Big, they get big. And like I say, they fly. They got wings. They can fly. Now, your German, I think it's called the German cockroach, does not have wings. They're black, usually. And now the palmetto bugs are sort of brown, sort of a dark brown. But the regular roaches, the German cockroaches, as they're called, I think mostly are black looking little suckers. They don't get as big as the palmetto bugs. Matter of fact, the palmetto bugs would probably eat the other cockroaches. They may do it. Gotta watch for wild boars. Oh God, that's worse. I don't even think about it. But anyway, next time you're out in the woods, next time you're camping, keep an eye out for ghost lights. You never know, you might see them. And these things are notorious for being seen around cemeteries as well, which is why they got that other name, corpse lights. There used to be a story attached to that because of why they were seen out in cemeteries and graveyards. that they were actually spirits of people buried out there walking around with ghost candles, ghost lights, looking around, And not too far from where I'm at tonight is a church that goes back to the early 17th century, and it's called the Old Stone Church. What an interesting name! I have investigated there many times. There's like an Indian chief buried there. There are a couple of Revolutionary War generals buried there. There's a witch buried there. Uh, if anybody in Anderson wants to go with me sometime, I'll take you out there and let you look around. It's a very interesting graveyard. Got a lot of history, and there's also a ghost story attached to it. That the ghost of a girl, a woman in white, comes down the steps of the church with a candle, a single lit candle, and she walks supposedly through the cemetery from grave to grave like she's looking for somebody's grave. And the interesting thing about it, no matter what, if it's raining or the wind blowing or something, the light of that candle never flickers because that candle, like her, is not of this world. All right, interesting ghost story, but that's sort of a ghost light there, supposedly that's seen out in the cemetery. So you have these things also attached to some places of the dead, like cemeteries and battlefields, because according to some legends, that at night when they would go out after a big battle to try to find people who were wounded, they would take lanterns and candles out there on the battlefield looking to see if somebody was dead or alive or whatever, that the ghosts of these people supposedly still are out there looking on their mission to find the dead and the dying. And you ought to see that witch. Definitely, I would. Well, if you're ever down in my neighborhood, I'll certainly take you out there. Girl, definitely. You would enjoy it. And as a matter of fact, I was there one time with a group. I used to teach classes out in the graveyard of this church, this old churchyard. And this thing goes so far back that up in the balcony of this church, I don't think they let people in the church anymore. I have actually been in the church at night alone. Freaky place. Churches can be some of the most haunted areas that you will ever go into, by the way. But up in the balcony of this church, they still have the slave chains up there. That's where the slaves would sit for Sunday service, and they would chain them all up there. And that's where the slaves sit. That's how far back this church goes. It goes way, way back. And in fact, where I live, Anderson is actually named after one of the generals buried in the cemetery. Robert Anderson, General Robert Anderson, and his friend, General Pickens. Pickens is the county next door to Anderson County. Anyway, it is a fascinating piece of history. But I was out there one time teaching a class. And yes, I did have classes out there, and I would teach people and give lectures. I'm actually I've given lectures out in cemeteries. Think about that a minute. Okay. Yes, I've given several lectures out in graveyards. Anyway, we were out there doing our stuff, and all of a sudden, it's about like 5 or 6 automobiles show up, and these people in black get out, and it was a coven of witches, and they had come to the grave. They all had candles with them and everything, and they did some kind of ceremony at this witch's grave. And until this day, when you go there and look at her grave, there's candles and offerings on the grave and all kinds of stuff. So it was kind of freaky, thing to have happen while you're out in the middle of the cemetery. And it wasn't night, though. It was sort of in the daytime. You're not supposed to go in cemeteries at night in South Carolina. It is absolutely against the law unless you have permission. I've always got permission. Okay, there. Jason, welcome back. But anyway, I've had some interesting incidents out in graveyards. And like I was telling Jessica today on the show, and it's just my turn of my mind and the way things have been. But when I started out well over half a century ago investigating and researching all this stuff out in the fields and doing other types of research and all, you didn't talk about stuff like this, folks. You didn't, and when you did talk, if you did mention it, people would laugh you out of the house, okay, or wherever you were at. You just didn't bring stuff up like this. You just didn't talk about it. And when you talked about stuff like this, you kind of, we whispered in low conversations. You didn't make it public that much. And it's hard for me to get out of that mindset because so many years I had to, be quiet about a lot of stuff that I was doing, a lot of investigation and stuff. And it's just here in the last, 20 some odd years, I feel a different atmosphere about this stuff. So now since I've repressed all that stuff, now I'm wanting to get out a lot of the incidents and encounters I've had with the supernatural and start telling people more about it. Like that story I told the other night about the island of the dead, that night on the island of the dead, which is one of the freakiest things I've ever had happen to me. Fascinating story, great story. And, it wasn't that fantastic when it was happening to me at the time, but now looking back on it, it was a very interesting incident, definitely. But I've suppressed a lot of this. That's just the way it went. You just didn't talk about it. And this seems like a whole new, different ball game to me, that now we get to talk about this stuff, and that's great. That's great. We, we don't have to keep it quiet anymore. I like that, And then now I'm wanting to begin to share some of the things that I have. And I have had a lot of supernatural encounters with different entities and different things. And I would like to, before I kick the can and shuffle off this mortal coil, I'd like to get some of this out and, let people hear about it because, like I've always said, and I stand by this statement, without a doubt, no story, no matter what it is, should ever be lost to history. Okay. And that's a shame, and that's what happens when people die. We lose so much history, and reports on this stuff. That's really a shame, very shameful thing to happen, but that's the way it goes. There is a tombstone that glows at night here. Yeah, I've heard about something like that. I've actually tracked down several that had stories attached to them. I told you about the one story about the vampires, the tomb of the vampire, I call it, the vampire, the struck stone. They were burying this man, and he was supposed to be a vampire and a warlock. And he was so evil that they said that during the funeral service they were having for him out in the graveyard, that a very bad thunderstorm came up. And I mean, it was terrible. They had to just cut the service short and leave. The thunderstorm was so bad, and lightning actually supposedly struck his tombstone. And we're talking about got lights now, okay? And this lightning struck his tombstone. They said this guy was so evil that even God didn't want him buried in the earth. Okay, that was the story. So I tracked that down, and sure enough, that tombstone was cracked. It looked like it had been actually hit by lightning. And I was going to take a picture. I was going to come back, like, and things turn up and you don't get a chance to do it right when you want to. But I was going to come back and take a picture of that. And because I didn't at that time have a camera with me, and I don't think we had cell phones at that time that were doing that kind of stuff with. So I was going to come back and take a picture of it. And when I did get back and to see it again, they had actually replaced that tombstone with another one. So unfortunately, I lost a great opportunity on that, but that's the way it goes. Never take anything for granted because if you go back, it may not be there. Okay, that's the way it went. Dog man probably eats wild boars. Okay, I wouldn't surprise me. They like ham. But anyway, that's the thing tonight about the ghost lights. If you got any questions or anything you definitely want to come up with, or you want anything else you want to mention about that, I'll be happy to try to answer your questions if you have any. The thing about ghost lights, and my last word of caution to you, if you encounter a ghost light, it's usually not a good idea to try to follow it or to try to chase it. It can lead you to some bad situations, you might say. So you don't want to, some of these things can be sort of malevolent, okay? And you don't want to put yourself in that kind of a situation. It might be very bad for you. Read a book, Red Dragon, the pig farm, where they toss people in and unalive them. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that book, The Red Dragon. And that's based on a serial killer, I think, something like that. It was a good movie. Yeah, Red Dragon was a movie. Yeah, I remember that. And let's go. I'll donate the dog man the A1 sauce. Well, you don't. I wouldn't want to hand it to him while he's eating. I mean, let him get his own. Okay, he might find offense at that. But and that's what I was telling about, talking to Jessica about today when we were doing that show. That's the big thing about the dog man and the werewolf. Okay, dog man's gonna might cut you a break and walk off and leave you alone. Okay, I said he might. Werewolf will not. He will not leave you. He will not let you do. He will not let you go. And when there's been a werewolf attack, there's usually a few body parts left, but not a whole lot. This guy is a psychotic killer. He will not turn you loose for anything. If you get away from a werewolf, it is an act of God, okay, that you did, because they don't usually let you get away. They unalive you and eat you, okay. Are these types of lights the same as the ones that follow vehicles down the highways? Those can be also like ghost lights. There are some reported that will do that in certain areas. Now, some of these ghost lights are out in the rural areas. They're away from roads and stuff like that, but some are not, and they will supposedly chase cars or follow automobiles sometimes. There's several of them that do that, and I think there is another one like that. I can't think of the name of it right offhand. In Texas, it does that, supposedly. So yes, that can be the case with them as well. Same canine crypt is tracking people for sometimes hundreds of miles. That's the way the werewolf does. Once it gets your scent, once it gets on your trail, come hell or high water, that thing ain't not gonna let you go till it gets you, until it finds you. That's just the way it is. It's what I call directional thinking. That's the only thing it thinks about. It's obsessed with destroying you. And once it gets your scent, you are usually doomed. So as let's see, darling, come out of the woods to you with a backhand and ask if you have any gray poop on. We wouldn't happen to have any gray poop on you, would it? But yeah, you know, these ghost lights, like I say, it's a good idea not to mess with them, really, because see, these unknown properties are going on here. Take a picture of them, fine, but I'm just suggesting you might not want to try to chase it, okay? Because, like I say, it can lead you into a bad situation. It'd be best to avoid. I mean, Hannibal. That's when they fed somebody in a wild boar. Yeah. The Red Dragon. Yep. Yes, thank you, Blazer. Hit that like button there, folks. Make sure you really lay on that button tonight now, okay? Easy way to get a free ride to heaven. Yeah, they ask you, what land did you hear? Dennis do everywhere. One bright sunny day, mind my own business, and a werewolf. A werewolf come after me. But anyway, it would not. I'm gonna say what death by werewolf would not be fun at all. Okay, I mean it's not gonna be very pleasant. Definitely not. Death by werewolf would be a horrendous way to die. Absolutely. I wouldn't want to go that way. Dogman has been known to attack people too. Dogman's been known to unalive some people. I think it was a very famous supposed Dogman massacre in the land between the lakes. You know, a lot of that land between the lakes, and I've done a lot of investigating on it. A lot of it is legend. A lot of it is told tales. But I think there is a core to it. Absolutely, I would love to investigate it more. I would love to go there and check it out, especially with so many graveyards and cemeteries in that place. Definitely would be a draw for Dogman. Stories of canine cryptids allegedly being 10, 15 tall. Does that sound legit to you? I don't know. I mean, 8, 10 foot at the most, maybe. But we got to remember the short-faced bear, which is supposedly extinct now. And I did a show with my good friend Kenny Starfox on his channel on the short-faced bear. supposed to be extinct. I don't know about that, but anyway, it stood around almost 15 foot tall. Think about that a minute. That is a big animal, my friends. That is one of the biggest mammals that ever walked this world. Well, when you start talking about things getting up to 10, 15, 20, 25 feet high, you're getting into supposedly the territory of mountain trolls. Um, I just don't see any. Let me say this: the higher up and the bigger you are, the more gravity comes pushes down on you. I just don't see you moving around or doing too well if you're that tall. Now, anything that's around 8 foot would be gigantic to us. And if you're scared out of your wits, okay, shaking in your boots, things scare you like that, look bigger to you. That's just the way your mind works, okay? I've had a lot of people tell me this. It looks bigger than it really is to you. That's just your mind magnifying the threat, okay? You got to remember that's the way the human mind works. So you have to take with a grain of salt some of this stuff, the size that some people say on some of this stuff. I just don't know. The Bigfoot that I saw was probably around 8 foot. And I'm saying this because I measured the tree later on where his head was, and I can say that without doubt. It was around 8 foot, probably slightly more than 8 foot. But I don't know if they get much a whole lot bigger than that. If they do, that would be horrendous to think about. Well, here's something you can think about. 15 feet usually is how high a telephone pole is. Think about that a minute. 15 to 20 feet is the length of a telephone, your average telephone pole. That's up there, folks. Okay, that's way up there. That is gigantic. Absolutely. The government agencies using them as like weapons and control them. Well, like I said, I had my own self been contacted by the CIA when they tried to recruit me. And what they told me, I mentioned that on Jessica's show today. What they told me, we want people with supernatural talents. They were, of course, referring to me, my knowledge of demonology and stuff like that and the occult. But I took that to also be a very blanket statement. We want people who can do anything like that. And without a doubt, I don't see how the government would pass up the opportunity to weaponize something like that. Absolutely not. I don't see them doing that because they're all about weaponization, whatever it may be, before it does hide as well as they say it does. Yeah, I have to wonder about it. That giant was 7 foot. Yeah, 7'4". Yeah. Um, I met a giant one time. He was about seven. Well, he's about 7 foot or something like that. But I mean, I'm 6'4", and I come up to his navel a little bit, to his belly button, just about. This guy was tall. So anyway, that would be very intimidating when you think about it. Even 8 foot tall is intimidating. Believe me, I've been there and I know. That would be rather intimidating for anybody to see. And let me give you a quick rundown on that. The conquistadors, who usually most of them was around about like 5'2", something like that. The conquistadors ran into a tribe of South American Indians that were around 6'2", 6'3". They thought they were giants. To them, I guess they did look like giants, you know. So there you go. It depends on what you want to call as a giant as a giant, you know. What doesn't our government weaponize? That's a good question. What doesn't it? And that's absolutely right. They weaponize everything. Yep, they want to weaponize anything and everything. Yep, absolutely. And that would not surprise me if they had an individual that could turn into a werewolf, or they had one that was a vampire, or they had one that's a witch doctor, or whatever the situation is. They would use them. Oh yeah, without a doubt, without it with in a heartbeat, they'd use them. And that's what this guy was telling me. We want people with supernatural. Here's what he said: we want people with supernatural knowledge and talents. That's what he said. I took the guy at his word. I mean, that's what disturbed me about that whole incident. What do you need people like that for? What are you doing? Today I learned what the CIA is replacing waterboarding with Verizon wireless customer service. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That is a torture unto itself. Absolutely. I've run into that in the past too. And they would weaponize a hummingbird, possibly. They probably do. Without a doubt, they got cameras and all that stuff on them, you know. Oh yeah, they've even got supposedly robotic type mosquitoes that can light on you and take a DNA sample without you even knowing it. And these are robotic mosquitoes. Think about that a minute. That's something like out of science fiction, right? Not anymore. Oh yeah. Well, that's a good sign of spring. You see a hummingbird usually. Zoe Stark is now a new member. Okay, welcome aboard. You are now an official shadow hunter. Go check out that story about the island of the dead, okay? You'll enjoy it, I hope. Full body, starting to sound better all the time. Yeah, it might be a good idea. It's full body stuff. Absolutely. Armor, definitely. DARPA subsidiaries near you. But yeah, you got a lot of freaking. Let me tell you something, okay? And I'm not trying to be melodramatic here, okay? Leave the drama for your mama, okay? Let me say this, okay? Listen very closely. If you knew some of the things I know, and I'm not just saying that, I'm not, okay? This is real, okay? I'm being real with you here. If you knew some of the things I know, you would never sleep well again. I do not sleep well, okay, because of these things. Knowing what is out there and knowing what's going on out there, really going on in this world. Yeah, the truth is a good thing, but it can also be disturbing as well. And some of the stuff that's going on would blow your mind, connected to a lot of things, a lot of darkness in this world. Absolutely. It's like I've mentioned before, my friends. There's a darkness inherent in all of us. There's an animal inside of us all. If you turn it loose, it would commit murder. You know? Absolutely. That's inside of us all. But the darkness of this world, of this universe, of this existence, would like to put hooks in that darkness and in us and pull it out, pull us deeper into the darkness until the darkness swallowed us up and ate us up alive. That's what the darkness is all about. And I've talked about this before, and I'm not going to get into it tonight. But let me say this, okay? There is a darkness in this world connected to power and money, by the way, that is highly addictive, more addictive than anything on this planet or in this universe. This darkness is so addictive, it makes cocaine look like nothing. It, it makes all these drugs nothing compared to the addictiveness of this true darkness. And what it does, my friends, it not only addicts your mind and body, but your spirit as well. It puts chains, spiritual chains of darkness around your soul until you have no soul left. And once you have no soul, my friends, you're no longer human. That's it. You've lost everything. You've lost yourself completely. And we have to be very careful about that kind of stuff. You know? Watch out about the darkness. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer kind of a thing or a Dennis Downer. I'm not giving you doom and gloom. I'm just warning you. We got to watch out for that. If you know there's a rattlesnake in your living room, you're going to be more cautious when you walk in there. I hope you will. Okay. Until you find that thing and get it out. Okay. When you know something is there waiting to unalive you or destroy you, it's a foolish thing to ignore it. It's very foolish, and we don't want to do that. We want to take care of the things that we need to do, the most important things. And as Girl Nagong definitely says, yeah, stay vigilant. Or as Jessica says, keep your head on the swivel. As I say, keep an eye on your six too. Okay, you got to be very careful in this world, especially now. And I'm not just talking about the darkness, the supernatural darkness. There's a human darkness here too, my friends. Okay. It's just as bad as that spiritual darkness. Sometimes it's worse. But sometimes both of these things hook up together, and that's really bad, okay, when that happens. And let me tell you this, as sad as this is, there's a lot of people out there tonight that have sold us out. They have sold the human race out for glory or money, power, whatever the situation. They have sold us out. Those are the most dangerous people that walk this planet. Overbill says, be addicted to Christ, seek him in the days you feel weakest, as soon to be the days of coming strength to him. Look towards the growing in that. Absolutely. You got to grow spiritually. Not go back. You got to go forward spiritually. Absolutely. Don't forget to hit that like button now, But that's my show tonight on Earth, Light, and Mysteries. And if you want to do, like I say, some fascinating research, go check it out. All right. I saved a brown bat at work today. I took it to a rehab outfit. They have many bats. Bats are very beneficial, by the way. They eat their weight in bugs every night. We would have a bad world without bats. Bats are very, very important. They like mosquitoes, too. And by the way, never kill dragonflies. They eat mosquitoes, too. I like dragonflies. Oh, yeah. There's Aquarius Rising, Africa. I will be on there again this week doing the second part of the Real Society. You do not want to miss this, folks. It's going to be good. And we're going to get into some wild stuff for part 2 here, okay? So you want to check in on Aquarius Rising Africa for that, okay? Absolutely. Girl Lagon says she loves bats. When I was a boy, some kids in the neighborhood rocked a bat and messed his wing up a little bit. And I took him home, and I actually kept him in the window because I didn't have a cage. I kept him in a screened-in window, and I fed him bugs and all that. And I finally rehabilitated this bat and turned him loose. So hopefully there's a bat still out there one day. That's my friend, okay? But I hope I helped him out some, absolutely. Bats turn into vampires. Oh, yeah, that's definitely cryptid hunters. That's definitely what they do, too. Absolutely. Vampire bats. Oh, those mean pesky little devils. Yeah. Real Society was a great show then. So thank you. Part 2 is coming up on that. So you do not want to miss it. And it's going to go into some very wild territory. Absolutely. But I was telling everyone today, Jessica, about the great show we did. Go check it out. And check out that Anderson werewolf and some other stuff we were talking about too. Fantastic show. Jessica and I always have a good time. And so go check it out either on her channel or mine. It'll be posted on my channel as well. And here's a link to it again right there. It is. Yep. Thank you, Girl Nagon. And I'll go watch the first episode. Yeah, go check it out. The Real Society. We're quite welcome, Cryptid Huntress. It's always a distinct pleasure to join you, my dear, on any show that we do. We always have some interesting shows. Absolutely. The Anderson Werewolf on Jessica's show. There we go. That's the link for it. Go check it out. And you will not be sorry, okay? They were feeding on the bugs y'all were kicking up. Yeah, that's the way the vampire bats do. They like the blood. The blood is the life. Van Helsing. But anyway, I'm reading some of your comments here. But anyway, go check that out. And Aquarius Rising will be Thursday at 12 o'clock noon. Okay, Thursday on and it will also be posted on my channel as well. I try to post everybody other shows that I do on my channel in my library. Hopefully make it easier for you to do. And I'll tell you what I will also do while I'm thinking about it, and I will also post the Anderson Werewolf reel on there on my channel so everybody can watch that. Actually, the Anderson Werewolf had a newsreel. You remember the old newsreels that they used to have in theaters? Well, this was 1945, so this was a this went international. This story went national and international. And so I will post the newsreel that you can, so you can watch it. And also the acting troupe here in town actually did a little thing doing the eyewitness accounts, dramatizing the eyewitness accounts. That will be part of it too, the Anderson werewolf. So I will post that very prominently on my library for all of you that want to watch it, okay, for free. It won't cost you anything. So go check it out, and you will find it very interesting, especially the newsreel, The Werewolf Down South. Go check it out, okay? You will be glad you did. So I will post that tonight when I get a chance, so everybody can go on Hunting the Shadows YouTube channel and check it out. And there's the TikTok right there. Thank you there, Your Honor Gong. That's the TikTok on the Anderson werewolf right there. Yeah. So that's a good link for it too. Absolutely. And go check it out, and you can watch the newsreel and the dramatization about the werewolf incident. But I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. This has been a great show on Earthlight Mysteries. It is a fascinating subject, a very mysterious mystery, definitely. A lot of people over the years have tried to solve these. A lot of the National Geographic, the American Scientific Association, a lot of people have gone after the answers on this and come away with still a lot more questions than anything else. So it is a fascinating mystery. I love a good mystery, don't you? I love a good mystery. I sometimes hesitate about solving them because the mysterious part is so neat, you know. But there you go. Always like a good mystery. Well, thank you. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and tuning in and showing your support, either with monetary gifts or just showing up and showing your support. Thank you, Shiro, for being here. And I want to thank all of my moderators. And don't forget now, if you have to, take action on anything, you don't let anybody know what moderator did it, okay? So you've got some kind of weird people out there, so we need to keep a lot of our moderator business quiet, okay? But do what you got to do. You're my mods, and I got you there for that, definitely. And I appreciate your hard work and all that you do and your dedication, all of you. And like I say, we got a new member tonight in the Shadow Hunters Club. And if anybody else wants to join, it is there. And there are different levels of it. And I will be dropping more videos. Go check out, though, if you remember, if you haven't seen it, my video I dropped the last night, that night on the Island of the Dead. I think you will find it a very, very, very interesting story. Okay, a very strange incident. Absolutely, one of the strangest nights I have ever had in my life. Absolutely. So if you get a chance, go check that out as well. Okay. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. So I hope that God will richly bless you all and they will keep you safe until we get together again Wednesday for Hunting the Shadows at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Hunting the Shadows YouTube network. And I want to send a get well thing again to my co-host, Mr. Gerald Fountain. Hope he gets the feeling better here. And there's the YouTube for the Anderson Werewolf. Thank you there, Blazer. Appreciate that. And thank you all. Thank you, Cryptid Huntress, Girl on her Gong, Blazer, Shiro. I want to thank all of you. If I missed anybody, it was not intentional. I just have a bad memory, okay? But I want to appreciate you all for being here tonight. Absolutely. You are my friends. You are my family, okay? You are part of my wolf tribe here, okay? Absolutely. It makes you very, very, very special, okay? And we wolves have got to look out for each other here, okay? So I appreciate you all for being here tonight. Thank you so much. And remember what I always say, the truth is like a lion. Turn it loose and it will fight for itself. But we got to turn that truth loose, okay? Definitely, we got to turn it, and that's what we're here for. Absolutely. Don't be a werewolf, be an werewolf. Absolutely. That's what I always say, being a werewolf. Okay. Absolutely. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. Take care of yourselves out there. Keep your head on a swivel and an eye on your six. Okay. Keep your wits about you. Keep yourself sharp. Okay. And yeah, I hope Gerald gets to feeling better out there, and send him all your well wishes to that. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. And thank you all, especially from the bottom of my heart, for your friendship, which means a lot to me. Okay. You know that. And I appreciate your support. And please be careful out there. Okay. Because these are strange days that we're living in. Okay. Times are very strange. So we got to be careful. Okay. So thank you all for being here tonight. And until we get together again, Godspeed.